Hey, I've got great news. For a limited time, I am offering 3 of my most popular courses for one ginormous discount. So with the Mother Color Bundle, you can get the color course for Rebels, the Mother Color course, and Instagram for Artist course, which when you start making all of this great art, you're going to want to promote it and promote it well. So you can get all of those for only $207, which is a savings of over $120. So this sale is only available from November 20th through 29th, so don't sleep on it. Hello, welcome back to the Honest Art Podcast. I am your host, Jody King, and I don't know if there's ever been a more relevant topic for us to talk about than this one. And what we are going to talk about is AI and how it's going to affect, and actually maybe how it's already affecting those of us who are really we want a career from our art business. And so what is AI going to do that? How is it going to be effective? Lots of concerns. You guys have been DMing me, you've been emailing me, so I know it's on your mind, and I can't wait to talk about this because what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about what the real fears are, what the reality of those fears is, and then what the opportunity can be. But then by the end of the podcast, I'm going to share all of these things that I am using AI for now and how it's really transformed my business and even my creativity, believe it or not. So can't wait to share it all with you. So without further ado, let's get messy. Okay, so the first fear. So one of the fears is that AI is going to come in and it's going to copy our art. And while that's a fear, the reality is that can already happen. We've already seen AI produced artwork out there for sure. But here's the opportunity. So while AI may have the ability to, quote, copy the work, the thing that we have and that we will always have is that we have our own voice and we have our own soul. We have the spirit that we put into it. And in my opinion, this is going to be our biggest edge. It's going to be our biggest advantage. And so if you are part of any of my communities, if you're part of the Honest Art Society, if you're part of Studio Elite, you'll know that when we do art critiques, I always ask, tell me about this piece. Tell me about this work. And the reason that I do that is because art is supposed to be personal, right? Art is supposed to move people, to stir people to joy, stir people to happiness, stir people to playfulness, or it can also stir people in a super, super meaningful way, move us with emotion, move us towards compassion, move us to something bigger, maybe make us think something that we hadn't thought of before. So while, yes, there have been some AI copies of work, the one thing that AI will never be able to copy is the voice and the soul of the artist. And I actually think that is going to give us a competitive edge. All right, a second fear that you guys have been talking about is, but what if AI makes better art than I make? And to that, I say the reality is that better is subjective. Better is totally subjective. You might find some of your work that is unfinished. This has happened to me many times, actually. Some of my work has been unfinished and even in my opinion, the fugly stage. And then I've had private studio tours or people just come through and they'll see that unfinished work and they'll be like, oh, I want that one, right? And so when we think of the fear of that AI can do better art, is that even what people want anyway? Because as we have talked about before, well, I should talk about this more because I just love this, but authenticity is the highest vibration that we can be at. There was a feeling maybe I don't know how long ago, but when you can measure energy, and there was a thought that love was the highest vibration that we could have, but it has now been discovered that nope, actually it's authenticity. So yeah, maybe AI will be able to make, quote, better art, but again, better is totally subjective. Do we want perfection? No, I don't want perfection really kind of anywhere. I don't want perfection, in art. I don't want perfection in friends, and I am releasing perfection in myself because frankly, it's kind of boring. So the opportunity here is that we lean into more and more of our voice and more of our authenticity, because within that's literally what better is. The next thing I've heard is that with so much AI work, that there will be like a flood of art to the market. And I understand that that's a fear, but again, we're going back to, if we look at the reality of, maybe there is going to be a flood of AI art, that's only going to raise the value of original art that we create. So I'm going to say, I don't think that this is a bad thing. I think that the opportunity for us as artists is we can differentiate ourselves by letting people see the artists as well as the art. And that is going to be the thing that separates us. So how do we do that? How do we let our collectors know that it's us, that we are not AI, we are not a bot, that we are making original art? How do we do that? Well, this goes back to the thing I'm always talking about, is let yourself be seen. And I know for some of you that feels really, really scary, but people truly do buy the artist as well as the art. So be willing to show up on social media. Be willing to show up through maybe an email list. Be willing to show up through art fairs, through exhibitions, through whatever that might look like for you. Be willing to show up. And I talk about social media, I talk about Instagram all the time. And that's because you guys, when I started using Instagram, I want to say it was 2015-ish. I never know, it's 2014, 2016. So I'm going to go with 2015. But when I started on Instagram, there was 1 billion users a month, a B, okay? And I couldn't believe there's this free platform for anybody to get their voice out, to get their art out, to get whatever they're doing out into the world. Then it changed to 2 billion users a month, per month, 2 billion. And now it's at 3 billion users a month. And when I'm thinking about AI flooding the market, or, AI art flooding the market and all that, and I'm thinking we have this opportunity as artists to show not only our art, but to show ourselves maybe in the process of making that art. That alone will show that it's not AI. You can see your hand. You can see the brush strokes. You can see that. So for those of you who are like, well, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want, I don't want to be like an influencer. I don't want to be taking selfies. I don't do duck lips. Well, I don't do any of that either. You can show up and show people that you are making that art by simply, showing brush strokes and things like that. So again, I actually am not concerned about market saturation and the devaluation of art. I just think that we can't ignore that, right? And we have to use it as an opportunity to be able to show that we are the ones creating that original art. Okay, real quick, I will tell you, if there's one thing that we know about all of the artists that have been super successful historically, is the one thing they had in common was community. And so we have answered that community call with the Honest Art Society. In the Honest Art Society, it's my membership where artists get monthly art critiques. They get several coaching calls a month for anything an artist might have a question about. We also do monthly trainings, and we do art technique trainings as well. All of this in a community of kind, supportive artists. It's truly an asshole-free zone. And now, when artists sign up for a year with the program, you receive the Art Biz for Rebels course, which is an $1,800 value for free. Art Biz for Rebels has proven to be able to help artists who are really looking for that career. It covers everything from marketing to pricing to applying to galleries, all of it. So all of this for a limited time. If you're interested, head to the link in the show notes to join us. Another concern and fear that I have heard is that the real fear is that if AI takes over, then basically art as a whole is going to lose its cultural depth and the meaning that artists bring to the world. And to that I say, I understand the fear. The reality is there will be more opportunities for music to be made, for paintings to be created. There has always been, but as a reminder, we are the keepers of the stories. Artists are. We are the keepers of the stories. We are the keepers of the culture. We are the ones that validate the human experience, and we always will be. And I believe that it behooves us to lean into that role, to really just command that space, to put our shoulders back and lift our chin a little bit and acknowledge that the work that we do in the world is more important than ever, that we are not going to let, a plastic, for lack of a better term, like a plastic world that's not real take over. We are going to step into the role of the artist, where we share and validate the human experience. We share cultural stories. We tell the stories that are meaningful to us, and we do that through our work. Can you imagine the value of that in a world that people are unclear? Is that real? Is it CGI? Is it AI? Is it whatever? But can you imagine when they realize and recognize that we are telling the truth of our lives, and we're telling the truth of our lives through art? And then that connection, it creates this energetic soul connection that elevates us way above AI. It becomes even more important that artists in the world, and even more important that we create that honest art. Okay, so then that begs the question, how do artists respond to this? And by the way, I'm also going to talk about the benefits and how we can use this AI opportunity. But before I do that, like I said, how do we respond? Well, I think that we as artists, we respond by educating our collectors. We educate people around us what we do, why we do it, and we stand in that. So we can no longer just kind of stay on the sidelines and just kind of I hope my art speaks for itself. And by the way, I used to be one of those, I want my art to speak for itself. And then I got over that really quickly when I realized no, people are actually wanting that human connection with the artist. But if you are still one of those will let the art speak for itself people, I'm suggesting that this is your opportunity to come away from the sidelines, step onto the field, and be able to talk about your art in a way that is meaningful and can connect to people. Now, the second way I think that we can respond is we can get involved in advocacy groups that are just now putting some parameters and some legal guidelines around art and AI and what we can do to protect ourselves. That's the other thing that I'm going to do. But let's get into some of the ways that I have been using AI and the ways that I have been teaching other artists in my programs to use AI. And it's so exciting because here's the reason why I'm excited about bringing it into my life is that all of those business types of things that kind of annoy the crap out of us as artists, AI is going to help us with that. It's going, and it has shaved hours and hours off of my day by incorporating AI. So let's get into some of the things that we can do to utilize AI. And here's the other part of it that I love is it actually puts me in the studio more. You know how we're always like, well, I just want to create, I just want to paint, I don't want to worry about all of the business stuff. Well, AI is going to help us do that. So number one, what's the first way it can help us do that? It can really help us write those artist statements that are so hard to pull out of ourselves. So when we are thinking about artist statements, we want our artist statement to help us stand out. But oftentimes we will write artist statements that make us sound just like everyone else. So the artist statement might say something like, you know, I've always loved using color. I like my art has got a lot of layers because I feel like it adds more depth. I'm inspired by nature. Well, all of those things could be said by almost every single artist in the world. That does not help us stand out. But when we use AI, we can go in and we can type in all of those things that are unique to us. Maybe it was where we grew up. Maybe it's what other people say about our art. Maybe you put into AI what you've heard about how it makes people feel. Maybe you also put in what the creative process does for you, how it makes you feel. You put all of that in there, and you will get an artist statement. Oh, by the way, ask ChatGPT or whatever AI platform you're using. Ask it to put it in 2 paragraphs or less, and there you go. You've got an artist statement, and it works so well. You'll have to go in and tweak it, but that's with any of the writing prompts for AI. You'll go back and you'll tweak it, but I think you'll be surprised. At least all of the artists that I've been coaching to do it, they're like, oh my gosh, like mind blown. So the first one is artist statement. The second one, and this is huge, talk about a time saver, is in researching galleries. So you've probably heard me say it before, but galleries and submitting to galleries a lot of it is a numbers game. Okay. It's really about casting your net wide on the number of galleries that are out there, but it can be hard to spend all this time doing research. Well, when you've got AI, you can literally plug in, show me galleries that have this kind of price point, that have this type of artwork. Maybe if it's abstract expressionism, or maybe it's maybe you like to do Western, or maybe you like to do landscapes, whatever. You just plug that into AI. You say, show me the number of galleries that are in this area that sell art in this price range with this type of style. And give me the contact information and what their guidelines are, and put it in a spreadsheet format. And holy shit, it does it for you. And now you've got all of this research that would have taken literally weeks to do. And AI has put it together for you. Now, obviously, you go back and you cross-reference it. There are mistakes that AI makes, but holy crap, such a great skill to have when you're talking about researching galleries and putting together all of that work. Okay, next thing, just like researching galleries, you can also use AI to research art fairs and exhibitions. And within the same way, you just go into AI and you say, I am interested in applying to art fairs. You can be really specific. You can say, I only want outdoor art fairs. I only want indoor art fairs. I only want art fairs with X number of dollars for submission, or you have to pay a fee to not only apply, but usually you pay a fee to participate. So you can be specific about what those fees, what you wanted under a certain amount, or whatever. You can put in all of those specifics, as well as what the requirements are and the contact information, and have them put them is AI. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. Have them put that in a spreadsheet format, and bada bing, bada boom. You have got all of this research done for you on art fairs and exhibitions. Next one, And this is big, but I also want to tell you, use it with caution, okay? But I know that writing captions for social media can be tricky for some of us. Now, I write every one of my social media captions myself because I think it's really, really important for us as artists to use our own voice because, again, it's what sets us apart. There's so much art out there, and there are so many artists out there. The way that we set ourselves apart is through our voice, our art for sure, but also through our voice. And so using our voice in our captions is important. So that's why I'm saying be careful. But if you don't know what to write and you've got something you're wanting to post, you can go to ChatGPT. I have a whole thing on it on writing captions. So I'll go, I'm stuck. I want to write a caption that says basically blah, 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 but I want to say it in a more concise, sassier way. And then ChatGPT will spit out an option. Now, usually I'll use, if it gives me, let's say, like 5 paragraphs, or not paragraphs, but 5 different things. I might pick 1 or 2 things out of it, but it's a jumping off point, and it can make writing your captions and getting your message across so much easier. So yes, use it, but be careful because we want to hear your own voice in your captions as well. Okay, next, in the same way we were talking about captions, you can also use AI to help you write those newsletters that you send out over email. So, y'all, this is such a time saver, I can't even tell you. But now, remember, you want it in your voice. You want people to hear you. You want it to sound like you. And I always think that like throwing in some humor, a little bit of sass, that's of course my brand, maybe it's not yours, but throwing a little humor is helpful. ChatGPT doesn't always do that, right? They're still trying to define our voices. And if you are using AI, let's say for work or something like that, you're not going to get as clear of a voice that you have than you will if you're using AI for your own personal use. It can be really helpful for drafting those emails to send out. And just like, even if you're sending an email out or a newsletter and you're just talking about some behind the scenes things like, maybe the books that you've read or what you did for the summer or maybe for the holidays or something like that, AI can be so helpful in just crafting those kind of like behind the scenes personal messages for you, so long as you go back in and you discern and you put it in your voice. And then lastly, for now anyway, I'm sure it's going to expand, but another way we can use AI is to help us as a title finder. So if you've been painting for any length of time, you know that it can be hard to come up with new titles for your paintings, especially if you've been doing this a long time, again. So if you go to ChatGPT, and you can either load the image or you can do a description of the image, and then you could tell ChatGPT what the painting is about for you. Then it'll spit out usually 5 or 10 different title options. Super helpful. And something I found is that while I may not use the exact title, I can again use it a little bit like the captions for Instagram. It'll just give me like a jumping off point, and it'll maybe like trigger something like, oh my gosh, yes, I could say it, like this, or I could say it like that. Okay, so just to wrap up this whole thing, I want to acknowledge that yes, there's a lot of fear around AI and what it can do for us. But I believe that this is going to present even more of an opportunity for those of us artists who are willing to step forward and are willing to be seen and are willing to show our work and are willing to talk about what we do with authenticity and with passion. This is a real opportunity for us to grow our business. And the other thing to think of is you can look at AI as your assistant, not your replacement, right? Like all the different ways I was saying to use it. It's not going to replace your voice, but it can be your assistant in helping you grow your business so that you can spend more time on your creativity. So I hope that was helpful. Let's not be afraid of AI. Let's embrace it. Okay, if you enjoyed this and you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out so much. It gets us out to more people that might need this information. If you're listening to it on your favorite platform, could you give us a 5-star review, rating, and a review? All right, until next time, take good care, everybody. Peace out.